Documents we've obtained show the Alberta government is considering 3 different pipeline routes through northern BC. The files offer a first glimpse into where a new major oil pipeline could be built. Until now, the Alberta government has provided few details about its pipeline proposal. The province must decide which of these routes to submit to the federal government's Major Projects Office. But we already know British Columbia's premier is opposed to a new pipeline through his province. And the CBC's business reporter Kyle Bax joins us from Calgary with all of these exclusive details from his reporting. So Kyle, these aren't necessarily the least expensive routes, but they may be the quote-unquote easiest. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Arthi, these northern routes, especially 2 of them in particular, could show that the Alberta government is trying to put this pipeline through some communities that would be more supportive of this project compared to those that would aggressively object to it. Generally, the Alberta government has been tight-lipped about this proposed project, not giving any indication publicly about where this pipeline would be located, even though that's a major question for so many communities in Alberta and BC. So let's take a look at these maps. The documents we obtained show 3 possible routes through northern BC. That first one beginning in the heart of the oil sands in Fort McMurray, extending west to a location on the north coast called Observatory Inlet. The other 2 routes beginning in the Edmonton area. The first one traveling west to a point on the coast called Nasoga Gulf, where an export terminal would be built. And then that third option, beginning in Edmonton, moving west through the Rockies before splitting near the coast to reach 2 communities, Kitimat and Prince Rupert. And that third route, that southern option there, that is nearly identical to Enbridge's former Northern Gateway proposal. And now there are some extra port locations as well. We just showed you 4 different ones on the west coast, but there's 2 others that these documents show, Stewart and Grassy Point. Now, all 6 of those locations, they are quite north, the kind of the northernmost point on the BC coast, generally about 800 kilometers north of Vancouver. And this is also that area where oil tankers are currently prohibited because of the federal moratorium. Now, we showed some of these maps to some experts who pointed out how difficult this terrain will be in northern BC. Not only the mountains, but there are sensitive areas and major rivers as well, home to salmon habitat. Here's what one expert had to say.
I see as I look at those maps, either you're dealing with the Nass River or you're dealing with the Skeena, both really important rivers. The question will be, are you able to put in place appropriate mitigation strategies to preserve those rivers?
Another expert we spoke with said some of the northern routes seem to purposely avoid some of those communities that would object to major oil and gas projects. Here's what she had to say.
This is a strategic route for political reasons, not for economic reasons. So it will be a bit more expensive, but they must expect that will save them time and money on the back end.
Now, the documents focus on northern BC, but we do know the Alberta government is still considering a southern route as well, which would end up in the general Vancouver area.
So you've, Kyle, learned about some of these options through this reporting that you've done here. I'm wondering, though, when the public might learn more about which specific option Alberta wants to go ahead with.
Well, it could happen in the weeks ahead. The Alberta government wants to submit this proposal to the Federal Major Projects Office this month. That's when we could see more details. But those I've spoken to in the government and those involved in the consultation process say it's possible the Alberta government will not include a specific route to the West Coast for this pipeline. Instead, the submission may include a general corridor where the pipeline could be located. And then in the future, sometime, the government will actually pick the routes and the ports. I'm told that that's a possibility. Just one of the aspects, Arthi, to watch for with this project in the weeks ahead.
Kyle, thank you for this. That is the CBC's business reporter, Kyle Bax in Calgary.